Welcome. Todd, I've always wanted to ask you, is that image that's on your Zoom before you come on, is that a hummingbird moth?
It is indeed a hummingbird clearwing moth.
Clear wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It does have clear wings.
Yeah. There's like three species of clearwings in Wisconsin, and that's one of them. They look like they look like hummingbirds when you see them.
Yeah, the first time I saw one, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Cool.
And it landed on your finger?
Let's say it was coaxed onto my finger for the
Coaxed. Okay.
purposes of photography. It was a cool day, as I recall.
So it liked the warmth of your finger.
Yeah, that was up in Jackson County, as I recall. So
Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah,
Really beautiful. I've seen a few of those in Madison.
the ones I see more commonly down here are I think it's the snowberry clearwing, and then there's one called the Nessus clearwing. They're both lovely.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. Good to know. Let's see. And the whole point of this is to learn the practices and the Dharma actually uh, through the body, yeah, through movement, and that is what we try to do. It's just that I find it sometimes a little helpful to sort of introduce it first. Um, so you've all been doing this a little while, so you know there's this vertical axis that we touch into every single time. And it's just the vertical alignment of the body. Um, and then at a deeper level, it's the body being the energetic connection between the earth or the material world and the heavens or the immaterial world. So we're aligning form and boundlessness. Okay, we're using our consciousness to do that. So that's the vertical, and that's you can envision that as this laser beam sort of thing, or as your spine, or as this sort of tubular, um, yeah, cylinder. Any of those are fine, and so there's that. And that has to do with postural alignment, standing or sitting. Um, And then uh, there's what if you want to envision it rather than as in addition to the tube, there's this sort of radiance quality, and that means there'd be a, a point in the center, and then there'd be this concentric spheres going out, and it's the same thing as the vertical. It's just that it's radiant. It, it's moving out in all directions. And so we practice that every time too, with breathing the stars and other kinds of practices. So the vertical is kind of like a cross section, if you will, of um, this sort of spherical thing. Okay, and both of these are really basic uh, to understand, the Qigong practices that we're doing, the Shen Gong practices really, but all the Qigong practices we're doing. So um, the it, both of them need to be invoked, and by invoking the vertical, we get into the alignment and the connection and the energy flowing and so on. And with the radiant one, that's where we get into um, sort of the Nigong practices within the body, that the still points, that's the center. And then the suffusion practices where we suffuse the whole body with an emotion or with energy or consciousness, where this so it's suffusion, it's radiating out, filling the body. So it sort of ends at the skin. And then there's centering, and then there's suffusion, and then there's radiance. radiating. And so this is where the consciousness goes right through the body and radiates out in all directions infinitely. So we've done all of this, right? So in working with these things, these two sort of ways, the vertical and the radiant, we can really achieve a whole variety of body-mind states. Okay, so just want you to sort of have that picture in mind of what sort of that map, I guess. Part of what Qigong is sort of mapping the energy. It's sort of, mapping the energy in the body, around the body, and being sensitive to it. Okay, so that can maybe give you some kind of a overview of what we're doing. And then because we're going to go into all of those things. I wouldn't do this if there was a new person because it would be way too much. But you folks have a sense of both of these things. Okay, is there any questions about that? I think you all know. I mean, you know it through your body because we've done it. But is there any questions about that? Okay, I didn't think so. Good. So that's where we're headed. And I guess I'll mention toward the end, we'll be doing um, death practice, what they call death practices. Okay, and don't be scared of it or anything, but that it is. I mean, we're all going to die, and from the Taoist point of view, and the Buddhist point of view, death is a transference of energy. Okay, and so it has to do with that verticality. Some of the energy goes down back into the earth, and some of it goes up. And at a certain point, from the point of view of radiance, there's no down or up. It just all goes out, right? But there are specific practices to do for ourselves, for for when we're dying, or for when we're not dying. It's spiritual practice has to do with death awareness, actually, and they're also very useful for other people who we may be sitting with, who are at end of life. Okay, and I'm speaking from experience here. Okay, and so these things, and it'll come to you. Don't worry about remembering it. It'll come to you if and when you need it for yourself or for someone else. Okay, so just so you know, but it's all good. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So first, we'll just touch into the vertical alignment. So if you want, if it's useful for you to visualize, so it's the laser beam coming all the way up and out the top, and or this sort of tube that surrounds the whole body, or however you see it. But the main thing is that we want to feel it, and we feel it by feeling the alignment of the spine, the relaxation in the hips, and dropping the chin a little bit. And if the shoulders are tight a little, loosen them up, whatever you need to do. And when they say call this dropping into it, and that really is right, because when we, with an out breath, when we drop into this relaxed uprightness, there's this kind of this sense of the sort of the puzzle pieces fitting together, the Lego pieces all sort of lining up and fitting together. And so we do want to use, so that's the feeling sense, but we want to use our consciousness and our intention too, to visualize this center or the light and extend it down. And we want to visualize it going down like roots, and we want to feel that. The feeling is the most important. And what would that feel like? Okay, and then coming up through the body, out the crown of the head, and then extending way, way up. And so what would it feel like to be, like the branches of a tree or something very, very, very high up? So by mixing our attention, our consciousness with it, we can extend. So that's a quality of radiance, but it's at the same time, it's this connecting heaven and earth. Okay. Okay, very good. Now, this isn't a stiff thing. It's not, we're not standing at attention like a soldier or something. So, you might want to make some adjustments a little bit when you're doing standing mountain or standing one, just moving a little bit just to feel that verticality. So we want to establish that. Okay, good, very good. Okay, now we're going to, from that, we've got that center axis, and now we're going to sort of acknowledge the surroundings. So bowing to the east. So that this body turning to the south, it's not isolated. It's not just this lonely thing. It's part of a much bigger ecosystem here. Okay, so we're just sort of acknowledging all that's around us. And then we touch into that alignment again. Okay, and then dipping the knees, and then up, 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 up. Eyes follow. And here we're going to extend, point the fingers a little. We're sending the mind up, we're sending the attention up, 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 up. Way, way up, and then all around. So this is the reference to the sphere around the body. Okay. And then down. Okay. And then back. And so in this position, the lower hand is connecting down to the ancestors, not just human ancestors, but all the ancestors, the animals, plants, the earth. Okay, and the upper hand's connecting up. So this is a connection to all beings. and then to basically to the love of the universe, this incredible, expansive, mysterious, boundless consciousness. Okay, and then come back to standing. And now, when we're still, we can feel the breath easily. So let's just take the dominant hand, point down. So with the in breath, we're going to breathe in the nose. We're also going to imagine breathing in through the bottoms of the feet, perineum, breathing in, and then point up, breathing out the top of the head, and then down, and repeat. In breath, out breath. And then let's alternate hands. Let's do one more pair. Okay, now let's do it even bigger. So we're pointing down to the earth, down to the roots, tree and spring, in breath. Filling the body, breathe normally. And then out breath at the top, way up. Breathe normally. And then when you're ready, so this is an in breath, breathing up through the feet, the perineum, filling the body. Breathe normally. Send it way, way up through the top of the head. Breathe normally. So then do this at your own pace, using the mind to breathe from the earth up through the body, out into the universe. And you can breathe down from the universe through the body, back down into the earth. As long as you're in rhythm with the breath. And breathing in from deep in the earth. We're sending this out deep into the cosmos. Breathing down from the cosmos, sending it deep into the earth. Let's do one more. Okay, and now tree in autumn. Extend the breath way down into the earth. way up into the sky. Okay, now you can do this slowly or more quickly, either way. It might take several breaths to complete a cycle, or it may just take a pair of breaths. Okay, very good. Let's do one more. Okay, so this system now has been completely connected down into the earth and expanded way up into the universe. And so this is the vertical. This is the vertical within the body, beyond the body. All right, very good. And let's dip the knees, bring the hands up opposite the belly, and we'll practice breathing crane. So the in breath, the hands expand. The out breath, they come back. Now you can sit and stand when you're doing this. Okay, now we're suffusing the body. And that's exactly what breathing does. It fills the body with air, and the oxygen goes into every cell. So just feel and imagine when the breath comes in, it fills every cell in the body. So every cell in the body is breathing. And there's a practice of this where each cell is a flower. And this is an ancient Buddhist practice, actually. The flowers open, so every cell in the body opens with the in-breath. And we're suffusing the body. And you can practice sort of suffusing the organs. The contents of the torso. And you can suffuse the muscles, the bones, the skin, and so on. Yeah, let's do one more. Okay, very good. And now we'll bring the hands up to the heart. So same. Filling and emptying. Okay, now you can draw in the breath or the energy from above or from below. And then when you breathe out, you can breathe out up or down, or both at the same time. Actually, let's practice that. So the in-breath will breathe in through the top of the head and through the bottoms of the feet. Fill the body. Out breath, we breathe out the top of the head, out the bottom of the feet. So this is called whole body breathing. So we're suffusing every cell in the body with with oxygen, with air, and with the energy from the earth and from the universe. Let's do one more. Go down, just drop one hand, and then we'll do both at once. So you can feel and imagine the back expands as well as the front. And relax the lower back and the back. They actually expand with the breath a little bit. Okay, let's do a couple more. Okay, very good. And so, hands up at the heart. So, now sitting down, pointing to the heart. So, in breath. Okay, now this is beyond suffusion now. So this is the beginning of radiance. And the practice here is we're breathing from below and above, one or both, filling the body, and then with the out breath, radiating that out through the pores of the skin. So we're still focusing on the vertical axis or column. And with the out breath, we're radiating it out. Just like the body's radiating heat. Okay, very good. Let's just do one more. Okay, very good. And now just check in, reestablish the alignment. All right, now the body is aligned and it's suffused. And beginning the radiant part. And now we'll go into the flying crane. So the flying crane, the body is suffused. So that's what lifts it up, is the suffusion of energy. There's also, walking crane, breathing crane, but this is flying crane. And then the arms are describing, the wings, I should say, are describing this radiance, this cloud. This can be a fog or a rainbow light, whatever you like, but mainly it's just this feeling of uh, weightlessness, freedom. And go ahead and you can play around with this flying crane if you like. Go, go way up. And the body's actually lifted up on the breath. And if you're doing the internal crane, so that's the knee going part. That's the axis, the vertical axis. And then the outer crane, that's the field. So inner is column, heaven and earth. Okay, outer, that's radiance, it's field. Okay, very nice. Let's just reduce the movement. And now just notice the alignment of the body, notice the sensations maybe in the hands. Now the chi is flowing now in an organized way, up from below, down from above, in and out, suffusing and radiating. And this being, this body mind, is part of a much bigger ecosystem. Okay. Okay, very good. Now let's go ahead and move into sitting. And this could also be done lying down, um, just so you know. Like right now, sitting or standing, so the top of the head, that's up, and the perineum or the bottom of the feet, that's down. If we're laying down, um, it's still the same. The top of the head is the gateway to the formless, and the perineum in the bottom of the feet, that's the gateway to form. So it doesn't really matter. It could be standing on your head, it wouldn't matter. Okay, so let's just take a moment and just check your alignment. You can loosen up your body a little if you need to, and just usually when the body drops into alignment, there's a deep in breath. And so we're not only aligning the body internally, that is, we're putting the crown of the head above the perineum. We're also aligning it externally. So we're lining beyond the body down into the center of the earth, up to the heart of the universe. So the body's aligned internally and externally. Okay, so now this next practice can be done as an aligning practice, or as a suffusing practice, or as a radiant practice. We'll do all those. And then it can be done in a traditional Tibetan death practice. Okay, so before we start, so in the shamanic roots of Taoism, which are expressed in Tibetan Buddhism now, at the moment of death, the intention is for the different levels of energy in the body to go back to where they belong. So this is why they'll leave a body for several days, because it takes some time for the heavier energies to sink back into the elements. But for the spiritual energy, the higher energies, the intention is for that to shoot out the top of the head, the crown of the head, and the heavier energies will just dissolve down. And the traditional practice for that, it's called Phowa, Phowa, is to envision a deity above the head and then shoot the energy up to merge with that deity. So, and this can be whatever deity means to you. It can just be the heart of the universe. It can be universal love. It can be a being, like a holy being like the Buddha or Jesus, or it could be Avalokita or any of these beings. But there's an object that we merge with in the up direction. That's the Phowa practice. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. Just drop your eyes and attention down to the perineum, the lowest point in the torso. Drop the eyes, drop the attention down there, and then looking inward, is bring the attention up the spine and up into the sort of the brain. The pineal gland is what they say. So the center of the brain at the top of the skull. So there's that. Okay, and then there will be an opening at the crown of the head. Okay, and so the traditional practice is that we drop our attention down to the perineum, and there we visualize this this small red, ruby red, sort of little egg, a little marble or something that's down there. And that's the yin energy, that's the earth energy. So we just sort of imagine, feel that way down in the body, middle of the body. And that's there. It's color of blood, actually. And then bringing the attention up the top of the brain, we imagine the same thing, only it's pearly white, luminous white. So if we look up inside the body, there's a ruby red down at the bottom, and then directly above there's this luminous white. Okay? Now the red contains all the yin energy, all the ancestors, the earth energy. The white contains all the yang energy, the energy of the stars, the sun, the moon, the cosmos, consciousness. Okay. And so the practice is we'll breathe a few times, a deep breathe, and then we'll intentionally bring the white one down and the red one up, and they meet in the heart. Okay? And when they meet, they sort of spin around each other and they make this silver sphere, small silver sphere in the heart. Okay? So let's just try that. So looking down, okay, so we're aware, okay, there's this red down there, glowing, okay, and then looking up, there's this sort of like full moon sort of thing up there, okay, and then they're aligned directly above, aligned with each other. Okay, now we'll take some deep breaths, so in breath, and then breathe out. Do this 4 times. And on the 4th out breath, we're going to move the bottom one up, the top one down. They meet in the heart. Eyes are looking inward. They merge together, they spin around and transform into this silver sphere. Okay. And now that glows more brightly with the in-breath, and then radiates out into the body, suffusing the body with the out-breath. So every cell in the body becomes a little miniature silver ball. Okay, very good. Okay, and then the next in-breath, so concentrate into that silver ball. And breathe normally. And now this time, with the in-breath, we'll concentrate the silver. The out-breath, diffuse it out through the pores in all directions. And this is called radiant star. Okay, very good. A couple more breaths. Okay, and then concentrate the light back again in the heart with that silver sphere. And just rest a little bit. Okay, now, so preparing to, we're going to shoot this straight up the central axis out the top of the head. It's going to merge with some divine being, or with the heart of the universe, or with whatever is greater than you, much greater, that that's beyond knowing, okay? That's mysterious beyond knowing. It can even be a concept like love or wisdom or compassion, or whatever that is for you. And so get a clear idea of what that is. And when you're ready, then have that floating a couple feet above the head, a few feet above the head. And then establish its presence. It's aligned. It's part of the column. Okay, very good. Okay, now just remember the red ball in the perineum, the white one in the pineal gland, and how those came together. They're now in the heart, in the center of the chest. And we're going to take 4 pairs of breaths. On the 4th out breath, we're going to breathe out strongly, and we're going to shoot that up so that it goes up and combines with that which is above the head. So let's breathe together 4 times. Ready? 1. The silver is glowing. 2. It's luminous. 3. And now on the 4th one, breathe out strong. Shoot that up. Combines with what's above you. The body is there. Okay, now in death practice, the next out breath would be the last, and it would just go way up. You can do that if you want to. You won't die. But otherwise, we're going to uh, bring the whole being and the silver, bring that whole thing with the next in breath back into the body. So that being or concept, whatever was up there, now fills the entire body. And the silver ball is in the heart area. So there's 2 bodies. There's the physical body and this luminous body that are now one. And we don't want to radiate this. You can suffuse it within the body if you like, or just sit with it and just get a sense of this sort of bigness or whatever, lightness, boundlessness. Okay, so there's still this connection way up. And this is the connection to use to connect with ancestors or people who've died. So the consciousness extends up there and can connect, or with people who are living. This could be the source of inner teachers also. So radiant beings or consciousness that's available with the intention to go up and then to open and be one with that. So it's boundless up there, it's formless, and there are subtle forms that live there. It's just a more subtle level of form. It's not absolute formlessness. Okay, so with the next in breath, you just be sure, just gather yourself completely back together into this physical body. So you have access down below and you have access up above, and you're concentrated in this body, this physical body. Now the access is there, always there. Okay, and then slowly as you want to, go ahead and move around a little bit if you've tightened up a little. Or okay, very good. Okay, let's do our closing routine. So let's clap our hands together. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you for your practice. And please feel free to exit the Zoom or stick around, whatever you'd like. Okay.
Thank you.